I was actually in love with the four girls so much, and secretly, I actually fell in love with Damini. And I think if you put something out in the universe with the right intent, somehow it might sort of come true. On the 1st of Jan 2018, I get a call in the evening, and I remember exactly where I was sitting in which friend's house. And I got the call, and I was like, Rongita is really not my friend to call and wish me Happy New Year. So I took the call, and I was like, oh, hi, Happy New Year, really sweet of you to call. And Rongita is like, what are your dates like? The next 3 months. And I was like, oh, why? And she said, well, are you interested in Damini? And I was like, what are you saying? So I start talking like Bani sometimes. You know, once I read Damini again, I couldn't believe that actually I was being offered such an author back part, but also somebody who's so fierce, independent, but also as flawed and vulnerable and childlike. And she is very political. She's very righteous. She calls a spade a spade. She's very effervescent, but also completely unapologetic. And I sort of saw a lot of similarity between Shayoni and Damini. And you know, honestly, like, as actors, like Kirti was saying, you're constantly sort of looking for that opportunity where you can just do that little bit more, you know, where you can actually create layers and make it more interesting. I actually drove Anu pretty nuts with that. But I was so excited that I remember going to set on the first day of shoot, and we were shooting for Anjana's house. And I couldn't sit still. I remember Neil Bhupalam, my friend, he was like, are you okay? I've never seen you like this. And I was like, you know, I'm very excited always to go on set and start a new day or a new film or a new show. But that day, I don't know what I felt, was just this weird energy from my gut. I was like, I can't wait to play Damini. I can't just wait to be her. And I think Shayoni also vicariously, there are so many things that you want to stand for, you want to put your foot in there and say, you know what, enough is enough, no more. And Damini has the power and the strength and the spine to do that. And I'm so proud that these girls actually created her and gave it to me to play her. Thank you.
And what may especially interest all of you is that she actually plays a journalist.
Yes. And so was actually a big inspiration. Yeah, it was. We had lots to discuss, actually.
Women down there, you all have acted in this film. Do you think this is going to take off in Orthodox India? And what other plans are there in future? You all are representing the mega cities down here. How about the rural areas also? Will they come out in films like that?
Well, I'll try and answer that to the best of my ability. I do believe that the future lies with, you mentioned films, but this is actually a series. The future lies with content that looks at what we are. Very often, the content that we see in cinema or in series is what we want to be. The hero is always who we want to be. The heroine is always that pretty little wallflower we want to be. Here is a show about people who are as they are. And as you've heard frequently, the characters say, they're flawed, but they're wonderful. So I think more of Indian content will explore people as they are and capture the variety, the magic, the mystique of what we are as people. Women largely, and men too. Secondly, to answer the second part of your question, we have hundreds of films which have been made and lots of content which has been made for what you call rural India, that I would call tier 2, tier 3 populations. They have television to watch, they have movies to watch. It's, I think, an opportunity to tell urban stories too. And we in PNC have been telling urban stories from the very beginning. That's what we are best at. So we have stuck to what we know, not what we think we know.
I'm sorry, ladies, just 1 second, because I would really like Mr. Subramaniam to answer this question as well, because, you know, the platform has had both. We've seen other shows, we've seen this show, so I think it would be very interesting to have the answer from you as well, sir.
So, you know, in addition to everything that Pratish said, a couple of things, we look at it from the lens of the story itself. You know, we celebrate diversity. And so here was a great story that had an urban setting and had women at the center of it. We loved it. So sure, if tomorrow we have a similar opportunity to tell a story that comes from the heartland, of course we'll embrace it. Just as a perspective, on Prime Video you have films like Tumhari Sullu, Lipstick Under My Burqa. You know, these are all examples of really, really strong women-centric subjects, and they're all available to our customers exclusively on the service. So our perspective has always been story first, and we remain committed to that. And we will, at any given point in time, celebrate diversity. We are looking for authentic, unique stories. So there's no stopping us from doing exactly what you said, as if the right story comes along.
Also, if I may add to that, you know, I did a film called Parched, which was actually about a group of women, female friends, who were in a village setup, but they were as liberated and as wacky and as confident and as beautiful and authentic as these 4 women, you know? So it's actually not what is not important is the setting. What is important is how authentically you tell the story that you've set out to tell, you know?
All right. Do you want to add something to that?
I just, you know, I also feel that, I mean, we often talk about this, 2 Indias existing, India and Bharat, and urban and rural and all of that. That is also one of the central tracks, the tracks that we follow, because this is a story of 4 women who are constantly fighting that battle of traditionalism versus modernity. They are, because they've been brought up with certain values, and now they're beginning to question those values, because they're living their life on their own terms, which seems to be contradictory to what they've been brought up with. I mean, and these are things that we struggle with daily, like women today, whether in a mega city like Bombay or Delhi, or in a rural 2-tier, 3-tier city. But we're constantly fighting this battle of where are we, what do we do, and what are our values, and questioning those and stuff. And also, I feel that we've always, if we talk of feminism and we talk of the bra-burning feminism, I feel that was important for us to be where we are.